Someone to watch over me. In Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly happen. By George, what does that have to do with anything? I'll tell you. It's back to the Delta Quadrant this week for another adventure with Star Trek Voyager.
There's coffee in that nebula.
Though, really, this is a journey into the nebula of the soul, more than anything else.
Have you ever considered trying it yourself? Romance, I mean.
We're looking at an episode that would be very near and dear to my heart, if in fact I had one. It's time to learn some space romance with the Season 5 smash, My Fair Borg. Wait, that's wrong. The Season 5 smash, Someone to Watch Over Me. Just you wait, Henry Higgins, just you wait. Welcome back to SYFY WIRE's Warp Factor Classic Blend. Engage. Prepare for mission briefing! This episode first aired in 1999, but if you haven't seen it, it's new to you. All crew to spoiler stations, but because 1999, yellow alert! Voyager's hottest couple, B'Elanna Torres and Tom Paris, share a meal while 7 of 9 watches and takes notes, like they're a science experiment. This pisses B'Elanna right off. Doesn't take much. So Janeway tells 7 to stop doing experiments on the crew, and if she's interested in romance, maybe she should try it herself.
I do not require a romantic relationship.
So why'd you collect 30,000 gigaquads of data on the subject?
Janeway is off to get to know a race called the Kadi, while Neelix acts as ambassador on Voyager. The Kadi are highly restrained, and their cheese can't be too spicy. For some reason, they put Neelix in charge of the cheese. Again.
Get the cheese to sickbay.
Yeah, even after that. The Kadi representative comes aboard and starts to act like this is spring break. 7 is examined by the holographic doctor, and he offers to tutor her in the ways of romance. One of his first lessons includes a slideshow of mating called Love Amid the Stars. It's not a joke. They move on to learning small talk on the holodeck. Tom Paris sees this and makes a bet with the doctor about whether 7 will be able to bring a date to the Kadi reception and have it be a success. The doctor accepts this wager from Colonel Pickering Paris. The Kadi rep continues binge mode while 7 continues her lessons, moving on to personality and interests. Her goal is, of course, perfection, and one of her interests is music. It intrigues her. The doctor compliments her singing voice, though she doesn't see the point of it. Soon enough, they are both singing You Are My Sunshine together. During the duet, the doctor pauses, looks at 7, and yeah, he's screwed.
You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Harry Kim helps 7 pick a date, and she awkwardly asks out Lieutenant Chapman.
Are you asking me to join you?
Yes.
The doctor encourages 7 to wear her hair down and change her clothes, and when she arrives for the date, she looks... Come on. Do you have a pulse? Come on.
Thank you.
The date is going well, overseen by the doctor, until 7 almost rips Chapman's arm off while dancing. I'd risk it. Chapman goes to sickbay, and the doctor wastes no time in teaching 7 how to dance himself. Suave. Very suave, doctor. It's what he wanted the whole time. The doctor brings 7 to the reception as his own date, and at this point the Kadi rep is totally drunk. Synthahol, apparently, affects the Kadi like regular alcohol affects humans. 7 makes a great toast and is doing really well all around. Really good stuff. Until Paris mentions the bet in front of her. The Kadi rep then tries and fails to mate with 7, so she storms out. Rightfully so. The doctor can help the Kadi rep by using some of 7's nanoprobes, and he also apologizes to her for the whole bet thing. He then asks Tom Paris what you do when you've developed romantic feelings for someone, and Tom knows exactly who he's talking about. We all do. He tells the doctor to be direct. The Doctor does exactly this after leaving roses for Seven in her Borg alcove, but it turns out that he was only practicing on a hologram of Seven. The real Seven enters and tells him she's scanned the crew databank and has not found a single acceptable mate.
It's obvious there are no potential mates for me aboard this vessel. However, if I encounter a compatible individual in the future, I will again seek your guidance.
The holographic Doctor, completely in love with a former Borg, and completely and utterly screwed, sits on the holodeck, plays the piano.
Sukat! His eyes uncovered!
Does someone to watch over me have plenty of secrets and references residing within? Did Janeway get fed up with Tom and B'Elanna's PDA?
If you choose to pursue a relationship, that's your business. But you consider yourselves under orders to use better judgment about it. Is that understood?
A big yes to both questions. I mean, they were all over the place, on the deck, just everywhere. I love My Fair Lady, I love space, so naturally I love My Fair Lady in space. This episode is obviously highly influenced by the classic musical, as well as the play that the musical is based on. Seven is in the Eliza Doolittle role, and the Doctor is in the Professor Higgins role, and this was definitely intentional, according to the episode's director, Tom Paris himself, Robert Duncan McNeill. The influence only goes so far, however, as the ending of this episode is very different from the ending of My Fair Lady. Some might say that Higgins in no way deserves a happy ending, and that the holographic Doctor does deserve one. I'm saying that, actually. To hell with your slippers. The ending for the Doctor here is painful, and though he continues to coach Seven in humanity, he never tells her how he feels. As far as we know, she never finds out. This fact breaks Seven actress Jeri Ryan's heart, though she has also said that this episode is one of her favorites. I'm not surprised, she's fantastic in it, as is Robert Picardo. This was not the first romantic plotline for Seven, and it's not the last. She was one of Harry Kim's impossible crushes very early on, and it did not work out. The pairing of Seven and the Doctor doesn't work out either, no matter how much some of us wanted it to. McNeill has said, at least in terms of this episode, that the writers were not willing to go that far. Instead, the show would randomly pair Seven with Chakotay towards the end of the series. No shade to Chakotay or the show, but this was random as When we meet Seven again in Star Trek Picard, Chakotay isn't mentioned once, so I'm guessing that the romance didn't last very long. When we last saw her, Seven looked like she was getting comfortable with Raffi Musiker on La Sirena. The Doctor himself is no stranger to romance. He experiences it in the Season 1 episode Heroes and Demons, and then again with the Vidian Dinara Pell in the episodes Life Signs and Resolutions. In Message in a Bottle, the Doctor tells the Andy Dick EMH that he has engaged in sexual activity, so that was either with Pell or another hologram. Not sure. The episode probably has the funniest response to the Doctor's often repeated opening line of,
Seven, please state the nature of the medical emergency.
I have a date.
This episode also marks the final appearance of the Sandrine's holodeck program. The crew had some fun in this holodeck bar, but they'd move on to other hololocales from this point forward.
Plenty more where we're going.
While there's no luck for the Doctor and Seven, love continues full steam ahead for Tom and B'Elanna, the Voyager couple that I never knew I needed until they happened. They're a rare instance of two main credit characters in a Trek series having a relationship and actually staying in it for the rest of the show's run, right to the very end, right to the credits of the finale. Death and other things have been known to get in the way, though Bashir and Ezri Dax snuck in right before the deadline, and Riker and Troy eventually worked things out in the movies. Don't get me started on Sisko and Cassidy, and Lord, not today on Odo and Kira. It is not a good day to cry. If you ask me, and you haven't, The pairing of Seven and the Doctor had so much potential and would have been fascinating to watch. Part of me really wishes that the show had committed to it, but that might just be my loneliness talking. Did I say loneliness? I meant awesomeness. Knowing that the Doctor's love for Seven will remain not only unrequited but unknown makes the ending of this episode all the more powerful. Would Seven have reciprocated the Doctor's feelings if he'd actually gotten to pour out his holographic heart? We'll never know. He never told her, so fun did not commence.
Earl Grey never fails.
Earl Grey never fails. And this episode is loaded with fantastic quotes and scenes. Though both lines are inconsequential, I have to give attention to two of the Kadi rep's drunken groaners when he decides to fall for Seven.
Seven of mine.
And...
assimilating me.
Okay. Woof. He must be a catch on Tinder. The quote that takes the episode, though, is not a quote at all. It's a scene, and it's one of my all-time favorites from this series. I'm breaking the rules, and we're just gonna show it.
You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
The day has finally come. Earl Grey has failed. Break out the 2309. Sad now. Sunshine.
Who is that extraordinary female?
7 of 9.
I want to meet her.
Take a number.
Will the events of this episode have anything to do with the future of Trek? Absolutely. Seven is a major presence on Star Trek Picard, and she'll hopefully be a main crew member on La Sirena when that series returns. It looks like her experiments with romance will continue. I've already said that she and Raffi look like they were hitting it off at the end of the finale, getting all handsy. Seven's had liaisons since Voyager got home, as well as her dialogue with Blajazel, or whatever her name was, in Picard Season 1 confirmed. In terms of Robert Picardo and the EMH, there's been no mention of bringing him onto Picard in any capacity, either as the EMH or the creator of the EMH, Louis Zimmerman. Of the many legacy characters that could make a comeback, this one makes a lot of sense to me, but I've said this before. If you watch this show, it's nothing new, I've said it. Something that also makes a lot of sense to me that I've never said before is Crusher Watch! Crusher Watch! Nope, not here, wrong show. Come on. Still, watch this episode, Beverly and Jean-Luc. Watch it together and let it remind you that you both have someone to watch over you. Go full Tom and B'Elanna. I won't tell Janeway. Come on.
Hailing frequencies open.
Our hailing frequencies are back open. Be sure to write in and share your thoughts on this episode, Voyager in general, 7 of 9, The Doctor, Doctor Who, My Fair Lady, George Bernard Shaw, Major Barbara, or anything else. In the comments for Space Seed, many viewers pointed out my incorrect pronunciation of the name Marla MacGyvers. I do apologize for this. It was a heinous mistake on my part, and I will never forgive myself. Apologies to MacGyvers and apologies to the parents who raised me. I also mispronounce eugenics, which one viewer commented on in the comments for conspiracy, which again, yes, my fault. I live in constant shame. It's not fun. I'm wrong and desperate, and I can't pronounce anything correctly. Total failure. Yes, I've made many mistakes in the past 2 weeks, but I'm thankful that I have you, the viewers, to watch over me. You're always giving me lessons in humanity, and they are necessary now more than ever. I've grown accustomed to your face. You almost make the day begin. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy.